okay, I've lined up, I can jury rig something here. This is a temporary arrangement, but I've just had earlier in the day I got an email from Sam Vaknin, and that'll be about that video I made yesterday talking about the repercussions of Richard Grannon's business model of making himself available to talk to any old crazy person on the internet. And it'd be that there's actually a backwash, there's actually blowback, and the blowback is he has some real stalkers. So I pointed to that and understood that people had put it to me that there'd been some falling out between the two, and I didn't know what had happened. But I'm saying, well, if that's a thing, isn't that an absurd thing? Because they're kind of dependent on each other in some regards. Mr. Vaknin, once I asked him a question, he blocked me, I think on Facebook. Never really reached out to him again. But there was a stage of the game where I was ahead of the game of Mr. Grannon, and Mr. Grannon and I started to collaborate, and Richard Grannon stole my act, and Sam Vaknin suddenly discovered that Richard Grannon was the greatest thing since sliced bread. So when Sam Vaknin emails you from out of nowhere because you've in essence rattled a few cages, understanding that there's always going to be a strange audience of people who come after Grannon, and you can't separate the wheat from the chaff. In and amongst, because of the kind of people that he associates with, the people that he's got best access to are disturbed, in trouble, vulnerable, but also dangerous. And I'm like, it's a repercussion of him being high profile on YouTube in a certain community and a certain kind of person, being in that community, being a member of it. I'm going to start idealising you. He wasn't so switched on to that back when I used to know him. I had to school him about certain things. Taught Mr. Grannon a trick or two. I had a few conversations with him that, I exchanged things with him. I taught him things that it's like, you can't even think that, let alone say it. I'm like, come on. I taught him all kinds of tricks. And it'd be a matter of, suddenly he's upped his game and knows things. And things have started coming to him, and it's a matter of, I taught him some. And then he stole my act, and suddenly Sam Vaknin started saying that he's great. And I'm like, right, hang on a minute. It's like I actively work in this shit. It's like I really think about it. It's like I've really done my homework over the years. It's like I got a lot to add. Right? Nobody. Not worth a fucking light. It's like things that you guys talk about, I've moved past. So it's like, oh, do we want to go back to when years ago I'm emailing Richard Grannon saying I've learned all kinds of new things about Messiah complexes. I think I might have some answers for you. And he'd be like, who the fuck are you? Like, hello? It's like, suddenly I get an email from Sam Vaknin. So if he's reaching out to me, I am the lowest of the scum fucking low. I'm like someone he does not deem worthy to, collaborate with, even sort of listen to, debate. But, the guy he bigs up has come along and stolen all my little understandings, things I've learned, all my little tricks. Basically, come and nicks all my tricks and then impress this guy that he's some kind of expert. Like, right, okay. Sam Vaknin. So what's Sam Vaknin sending me? Unsolicited. Dear Mr. Collins, attached, find a screenshot. Grannon threatens a woman with death. Thought you may want the heads up on who this person really is behind his mask of benevolence. Take care there, Sam. Now I would assume that this is it's out of either his inbox or it's out of, it says a woman, so I'll take it that it's his. Well, it's a complicated situation, but this is what he sent me, and he says this is him talking to some woman, and I might get you arrested. I'm tracking your device first thing in the morning. Okay, Grannon, you should get arrested, and I will definitely get a hold of you. Talk to Sam. Talk to Sam. Whatever. I will eat of your head, you motherfucker. You don't scare me. You're a coward and emotional abuse women. I'm not scaring you, it's a promise. Keep at your game. I know more than you think. Good luck. I will meet you. Right, out of context, that just means to me, fuck all. All that tells me is, by telegraph, all I'm taking from that is, this guy, right, sent me this about this guy. So I'm like, okay, that shows intent, and you reaching out to me who you don't see as, jack shit. I'm like, fucking, a chancer, right? Send that to me, all I get from that is, right, okay, who sends that out to a stranger? He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what I'm capable of doing. Is he sending out? Does he want to just knock me up? Does he want to give me a mistaken idea to kind of weaponize me to go after someone who he's decided he no longer likes? And I speculated in that video I made, which Sam has no doubt watched, that there'll be no way of knowing as to why these two men have fallen out, because they're both in their own way narcissists. And it'd be a matter of things can gnaw away at you. You can get super pissed off, and you really don't know as to the real reason why somebody like that has devalued you, which is the rule. So it's like, for us not to know, the way I said yesterday, but it'd be true that these guys have fallen out. And me seeing that Sam promoting a Facebook group for the victims of Richard Grannon and be quite an extreme thing to be going on. So I told Sam, I'll get to that. So I responded to him. Bearing in mind, we're in a great big club here of, super narcs. So it's like, here we are. So I respond. I'm aware, and I've been since I used to talk to him, he is uniquely positioned to have unlimited access to vulnerable, dangerous women. He leaves himself wide open to them, and he himself idealises values and drops people. That's his issue. He cannot help keep a lid on it, and is always in a weak situation because he will talk to anyone on the internet for money. Wherever he goes, there will be tales of drunkenness and cruelty because of the company he keeps. He has all of the practical skills to be a very effective pimp. I know this. But I also was associated him when he used to have some very deranged stalkers who had first engaged with him, who he had first engaged with and then abandoned. The business model he had cultivated this. I do not know what he is up to, but I have a very good idea who the people are making complaint. Other narcissists who have had designs on him. Always good to hear from a celebrity. Yours sincerely, John Collins. So Sam responds with this. Where are we? No, that's me again. He badmouthed me and my girlfriend after we had a fight. Vulnerable, and you just have to remember this is deliberately telling me what he wants out in the open or he's willing to say. So it's a matter of you're making some pretty damning claims here, mate. This isn't normal. Something the fuck is going on. He badmouthed me to my girlfriend after we had a fight. Vulnerable and heartbroken as she was, and then slept with her. He's an evil predator masquerading as a victim and a healer. He betrayed me in multiple ways, more times than I can recall, but he seems to have forgotten who I am. He is in for the worst year of his miserable life. Now, that's not me saying it, that's me reading it. And this is Sam Vaknin, isn't it? This is samvaknin@gmail.com. That seems like Sam Vaknin to me. It's like you'd have to go to some lengths to be able to steal that Gmail or clone it. You'd have had to wanted to fuck Sam Vaknin on day one of Gmail, wouldn't you? And I think he probably got there before everyone with Sam Vaknin. So Vaknin, and I repeat what he says, he badmouthed me to my girlfriend after we had a fight. Vulnerable and heartbroken as she was, and then slept with her. He's an evil predator masquerading as a victim and a healer. He betrayed me in multiple ways, more times than I can recall. But he seemed to have forgotten who I am. He is in for the worst year of his miserable life. Who mouths off like that over nothing? It's like I'm showing you the email he sent me, and I'll forward it to people. It's his email. He's calling out a guy he works with who could be seen as his ostensible partner and collaborator. Guys who I've had some profound disagreements with, and how they basically address their audience, and how they split things, and how they don't seem to make any real progress, as far as I'm concerned, in finding answers to maybe breaking a few people out of this fucking curse. I have profound disagreements with both of these guys. But it's like, yeah, I'll tell you what, I've responded to him. And then again, this video is also my response. This is my response to Sam. That's as bad faith gets. A wellspring of bad blood and a masochistic act of self-destruction you're describing. I suspect such activity would have him finding comfort in cocaine and whatever passes for porn. Seriously, him knowing better and being no fool on matters psychosexual would make his betrayal an unforgivable sin. I respect that you, yourself, a player of sorts, but you'd be a similar fool to give these details to someone you don't know, likely underestimate and cannot control, such as me. But I schooled him before you did. You calling him out like this is an alarm bell due to the fact that people who are dealing with very difficult real-life situations come to you for answers and validations. Grannon, betraying you kills your hustle stone dead. I taught him how to be a pimp in teaching him everything I learned while in the New Age cult. If he turns out a cunt, he was always a cunt. I'm guilty of having run my dangerous mouth to someone and giving them tools of the trade. So you telling me this puts me in a spot. I'm going to do what I think is right. Sorry you're having to go through a betrayal. It gets easier. John Collins. So, I thought the best thing to do was put it just straight out there. Just say, Sam Vaknin reached out to me, who he doesn't have any fucking time at all for, would see me as a fool and an imbecile, right? Sam might want that out. He might want Grannon smeared, right? And be passing this information on to spread it as part of some orchestrated hate campaign to bring the guy down. But if this be true, Grannon should be confronted for it. He should be confronted for it, and he should be made to explain himself. In view of the fact that so many people hold him in such high regard as a kind of a teacher or a guide. Like, what kind of guy stabs someone in the back like that? And pisses on his chips? It's like people pay money to go and see those two talk. People pay money to be advised by these guys, higher profile kind of therapists than my good self, by a country mile. People pay money to these guys, hoping for help and for answers. A bit disappointing, isn't it? I don't know if Richard's guilty or not, but I'm telling you, Sam would not approach a stranger like this for nothing. Something serious has happened, and at this moment in time, I'd suggest that it's Sam who's telling the truth. But if it's true, it's like, who does that? We all know the answer to that, don't we?